The Raw after SummerSlam took place tonight in Brooklyn, New York. We started off with the video package recapping both nights of SummerSlam. And I wanted to give more of my thoughts on the show overall for both nights, and particularly the second night. I got too excited after Brock Lesnar's return, and I really didn't give my overall thoughts on night two, how I thought overall, how I'd rate it as a show, what my overall thoughts were. And I thought night two was good. Better than night one. It was not without its flaws. Let me put it like that. There was a lot of stuff I enjoyed. The big return at the end, the classic main event, the TLC match, which was amazing. So much good on the show. The opening triple threat match was very good with the women, but the Women's Intercontinental title match, the Becky Lynch match, was so overbooked, overproduced, had so many problems, the Bayley run-in. It seemed like to me they were just overthinking themselves, and they were thinking instead of going sometimes. Like they were just trying to do too much with the whole zip locks, and there was a lot of issues. I thought it was still good overall. The match was a decent match. It was just way too overbooked, and the cage match with Solo and Jacob sucked. IC title match was all right, but the two good. Like, there was two great matches on the show, but I thought SummerSlam night 2 and night 1. I like night 1. A lot of people don't like night 1. I liked it. I thought they were both good shows. I didn't think they were all-time SummerSlam shows. I didn't think this year's SummerSlam overall was an all-timer. But the one thing I really wanted from SummerSlam this year was to be better than WrestleMania, which I was so disappointed with WrestleMania this year. I really hated that show. I thought it was a bad WrestleMania, one of the worst we've seen in a while. And no doubt about it, SummerSlam in the year 2025, SummerSlam was better than WrestleMania. And I'd also say that of the three major shows that we've seen this year, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, it turns out that SummerSlam was the best of the three. So there's some positives there, even though the show was not without its faults. Now, moving on to Raw, we see Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss arriving together, and Charlotte accidentally, she doesn't accidentally, she does it on purpose. She closes the door on Alexa. If you've ever been on the back seat with someone closes the door on you before you're about to get out, it kind of is annoying, and that she kind of trolled her there. Then we see Naomi arriving as well. The camera pans the crowd with the drone, and Seth Rollins is out first to a big pop. He's with his stable, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. Paul Heyman goes over, putting over each member of the stable. Then I had to mention this. Braun Breaker was funny here. He was funny in this segment, but with glasses, he looks exactly like the Big Boss Man. It's funny. He looks exactly like him, and maybe he has the same haircut that the Boss Man had, especially when the Boss Man was in the corporation with Vince McMahon. But he looks exactly like the Big Boss Man, the Big Braun Man. I forgot the Boss Man song, but I had to mention that. So Seth went on forever, boring. I hate his voice. Just there's something about his voice. It's raspy. I hate listening to it. It gives me a headache hearing his voice. But LA Knight interrupts him. He got a pop. He challenged Seth for a title match. Seth declined. Adam Pearce comes out, and he's pissed off that Seth lied to him about his injury. So he makes the match official tonight. Seth Rollins defends the World Heavyweight Championship against LA Knight in the main event. And he said Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are banned from ringside. We saw the Judgment Day walking backstage. Both Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez looked ejected after losing their tag team titles at SummerSlam. I'm sure they'd look. After tonight, they were even more sadder, probably 10 times sadder. They bump into the LWO, and this is after Raquel and Roxanne leave. Dom goes back with Dragon Lee back and forth. Dragon Lee challenges him. Then we see AJ Styles come up to Dom, and he credits him for the boot trick. Then he says he'll still come after him. And this is when Finn and JD were just in the background as tag team champions. No one cares about them. Rusev was out next. After the break, Sheamus is out. We get Sheamus versus Rusev 3. Match ends in a double count. They're having a good match. It was a big, tough, physical match. I really enjoyed it. A brute match, but it was a double count out as Sheamus was giving him like those 10 chops. The ref actually counted them both out, and then he had security break up a brawl, and they basically fought the rest of the show. Grayson Waller talked to New Day backstage. It was dumb. It's just awful. New Day sucks. So it's Grayson Waller. Waller tells Adam Pearce to give the New Day a tag match. Instead, he makes a match with Waller and Penta. We got Penta against Grayson Waller. Penta won. New Day were on commentary. Didn't give a shit. Penta beat up the New Day after the match. Good. Xavier Woods wearing this stupid, extremely long sombrero hat, and Penta took it away from him and wore it. So you had that. You had Karrion Kross and Scarlett. This news broke on X. They were not on Raw tonight. They were not backstage either, and they were mentioned by Sami Zayn in a promo, which I'll get to later, but they were not there. So their contracts are reportedly up next weekend. I think they're out. I think they're done. I don't think they're going to AEW. I don't think they'll go to TNA. I think Kross had problems in TNA at one point. I don't think they'll go there, but I think they're done in WWE, unfortunately. So that whole stable, the Final Testament. Earlier this year, the AOP and Paul Ellering were let go, and later both Karrion Kross and Scarlett's contracts went up. So the whole Testament's essentially gone from WWE in the calendar year. So you had Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, your new women's tag team champions, walking together backstage. And then as they're walking, Rusev and Sheamus come flying into frame. They throw each other into production boxes before the fight is they try to break it up. The security does, but they fought again later. And then we see Charlotte and Alexa looking on in the chaos. During the break, Naomi came out, and she got mostly cheers when she came out. Then she ripped into Brooklyn to make them hate her. She tells people in New York and Brooklyn not to move to Florida. I guess that's a thing. A lot of New Yorkers move to Florida, I assume. I'm not American, so I don't know. But got a lot of boos, and she's calling them, says they smell and stuff. Michael Cole mentioned that he talked to, and this is serious, by the way. This is really serious. Like, this was really not part of the show in some ways, even though it kind of was. He mentioned earlier in the day, he talked to Nick Khan, WWE president, and the head of talent, whatever Triple H's position is called. He said Nick Khan and Paul Triple H Levesque. He used a shoot name, and he said that he talked to them about Brock Lesnar's return last night. They said it was time for Brock to come home. So they did address something. I assume they did that to kind of mention I don't want to say placate or give some credence, I think there was a lot of controversy around Brock, and they felt that they needed to mention that just to give the people who are upset about Brock's return, to give them some sort of explanation in a way, even though I don't think they really deserve it sometimes. But I think that's why, I think that's why they did that. So then they mentioned John Cena's return on SmackDown. He's back. They didn't promote Brock, by the way, and Brock Lesnar was not on the show. Charlotte Flair is out next. She gets a pop. We get some moves. And then, of course, Alexa Bliss comes out to, drumroll please, a big pop. She gets a Bliss pop. Everyone loves Alexa Bliss, as anyone with two eyes would be foolish not to love Alexa Bliss. Anyway, once they get back into the ring, or they're in the ring as champs, and they're both wearing their ring gear, that threw me off right away. I thought, all right, here we go. We're getting a match. That's pretty obvious. And I noticed earlier when we saw the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez was also wearing her ring gear, so that was kind of a giveaway in a way. But they banter back and forth. They played a whole "we're not friends" thing. The fans told them to hug it out, and they have some good chemistry here. They went on for a bit. Then eventually Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez interrupt them. They want a rematch, and they want it tonight. Alexa and Charlotte agreed to defend their tag team titles. Adam Pearce comes out and makes the match official. So we have a SummerSlam rematch on Raw. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defend the tag team titles that they just won on Saturday against the former champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. So the first thing that immediately went through my mind was, we just saw this on the Raw after WrestleMania. If you recall, Becky Lynch made her surprise return to team with Lyra Valkyria to defeat both Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, who were the previous tag team champions, and they won the belt after they beat them at WrestleMania. Then the night after Mania on Raw, and they won on Sunday. I guess Charlotte and Alexa won on Saturday. But anyways, on Raw, the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez regained their belts, and then Becky Lynch turns on Lyra Valkyria, and I'm thinking to myself, are we going to say anything here? Are Raquel and Roxanne going to win the belts back tonight, and then Charlotte is going to turn on Alexa Bliss? that kind of went through my head right there. Oh, are we going to do that again? Are they going to switch a belt at least, even if there's not a turn? Well, that didn't necessarily happen. The crowd likes it at the beginning when Alexa Bliss is posing with them, and they kept cheering her and making her do it on the break, and she kept doing it over and over again. It's been revealed that Alexa Bliss, Michael Cole said, she hasn't been on Raw in 2.5 years, and that's right, because she's only been on SmackDown since she's come back, and the last time she was on Raw would have been when she was feuding with Bianca Belair, like in January. Then she left after the Rumble in 2023, so it's been a while since we've seen Alexa Bliss on Raw. There was a time when from 2017 through 2019, where she was a focal point on Raw. Like, she was one of the main characters on Raw, but she was back here, and you had Raquel Rodriguez on the outside drive Alexa Bliss into the barricade. She kind of slammed her rib first into the barricade, and both Raquel and Roxanne really got the heat on Alexa Bliss for a while. Then eventually Alexa tagged in Charlotte for the hot tag. Fans gave Charlotte a big pop. Charlotte went crazy. She got the big babyface momentum. Eventually, Alexa gets tagged back in, and then she hits a Sister Abigail DDT on Roxanne Perez, just like she did at SummerSlam, and pins her once again. So Alexa gets another win over Roxanne. 1, 2, 3. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Very solid tag match tonight. I thought it was almost as good as the SummerSlam match. In some ways, some people might prefer. I thought the SummerSlam match was just a little bit better. I really liked it. But I thought this match was also very good, and Charlotte and Alexa retained their belts. We go backstage, and Io Sky was talking to both her former Damage Control partners, Asuka and Kairi Sane. And Asuka and Kairi want Io to rejoin them. Maybe they want to rebuild or whatever, reform Judgment Day. Excuse me, not Judgment Day. They want to reform Damage Control, minus Dakota Kai. But Io declines, and then Rhea Ripley walks into frame. Asuka and Kairi Sane tell Io to go talk to her new friend. So that was a giveaway to me. Asuka and Kairi are turning on Io Sky. I'm glad they still have something for Io to do. She's going to be featured on TV, but that's going to happen. Asuka and Kairi Sane will turn on Io Sky. That's going to happen very soon. Might happen next week. Really could happen next week when Io faces Naomi. But Rhea is upset with Io, and she reveals that Io asked for a title match against Naomi. Perhaps Rhea felt like she should have got the match. They tease another match. Io mocks Rhea for getting pinned by Naomi at SummerSlam. Then Io grabs Rhea's arm as she's about to leave and says she'll never beat her. So I think it's obvious Rhea is going to feud with Naomi after Naomi is going to beat Io next week on Raw. Then what's going to happen is Damage Control is going to turn on her, and then Rhea will eventually defeat Naomi at Crown Jewel in Australia. I think that's where we're heading for sure. Dominic Mysterio came out. He got a pop. Then Dragon Lee makes his entrance during the break. Before we got to the match, they showed highlights from Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria at SummerSlam. I really want to forget about that match. There's so much problems with it. Then we see Bayley walking in the hallway. Lyra stops her and tells her to stay away from her, basically. She says she needs to be out of the Bayley vortex. She's very upset with Bayley, and she basically ends their friendship. I assume Bayley is going to attack Lyra and turn heel, or maybe Lyra turns heel. I don't know, but that's clearly the next program here for both of them. I'm glad they're doing stuff with the women. You have Bayley and Becky feuding now. You're going to get, I think, Io Sky feuding with Kairi Sane and Asuka. Then you have Naomi and Rhea. So I think we have our feud set up for the rest of the summer heading into the fall. That's good to know. But we're going to get Bayley and Lyra soon. Dominic Mysterio and Dragon Lee, they had the match. Fans are singing Dirty Dom. I like how the European fans sing. The fans are singing Dirty, Dirty Dom. Michael Cole accidentally name drops AJ Lee. He was supposed to talk about AJ Styles. He says AJ Lee's name by accident. And then Corey Graves just brings up Candice Michelle. I forget what happened. I think it was at Evolution this year when Michael Cole accidentally called Candice LeRae Candice Michelle. I'll tell you something. Candice Michelle never took a bump like Candice LeRae took last night at SummerSlam. But I think Graves was messing with them. I forget exactly when Cole made that. I think it was at Evolution. I forget exactly when. I'm pretty sure that was it, though. So 3 El Grande Americanos interfere in this match, and then it allowed Dominic to get the win. AJ Styles hit the win after Dom. They'll continue to feud. Maybe AJ probably gets the belt, I think, maybe at Clash in Paris. El Grande Americano gimmick, what is it? Kaiser and who are the 2 other guys? They've kind of almost killed it now with these 3 Grande Americanos. It's going a whole stable of masked men pretending to be luchadors. I don't know now. I'm kind of tuning out on this. Jackie Redmond interviewed Sami Zayn backstage in a parking lot. He says he wants to be a world champion, and as he's saying that, he mentioned he mentioned Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and I said I think they're gone. I think that's pretty obvious here. I mean, they have no direction now. I think unfortunately, both Karrion Kross and Scarlett are gone. I think SummerSlam was the last time we'll see them. So thank you, Karrion Kross, and thank you, Scarlett. Wish them best wherever they go. Karrion Kross was a good friend of Kevin Castle. I'm a long-time listener to the Don Shoney Kevin Castle show. Kevin Castle would have supported Kross no matter what. So, hey, support for Kross, support for Scarlett. Whatever they want to do next, best wishes to them. And Kross's book comes out in, I think it's a couple of days. Maybe it's tomorrow. I'm not sure. But his book comes out. So if you want to buy it, go to your local bookstore and buy Karrion Kross's book. So he had Sheamus and Rusev brawl right in front of Sami Zayn. He tries to break it up as he was interviewed by Jackie, and eventually it gets it's all chaos. I hope they're not doing a triple threat. I think that would be stupid, but I guess Sheamus and Rusev should have a match at maybe they can have a match in Paris. I assume they're just going to blow it off on Raw, to be honest, in a couple weeks, but I'd hope to see them have a match in Paris. We see Becky Lynch walking backstage, heading to the ring. Byron Saxton interviewed the tag team champions. Finn Balor and JD McDonough, if just in case you forgot they're the World Tag Team Champions, they are. He interviewed them on the break in front of the crowd. Becky Lynch is out next. She has her new theme music. She gloats after her victory at SummerSlam. Nikki Bella interrupted her. She says Becky is a disappointment. She asks why Becky came back. Nikki says she came back to challenge herself, but she doesn't know why Becky comes back. Becky plugs Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. Nikki insults Becky's husband, and then Nikki was just stumbling over her words. It just sounds so rehearsed. Becky just sounds organic. She just sounds like she's actually talking. Nikki just sounds like she's rehearsed her lines 100 times. It's just so obvious that they come from different times. And not to say Becky didn't have to have scripted promos, but it just feels like Nikki is it's from a different time. It's such diva air whenever I see Nikki. So Becky burns Nikki really bad, and she says, after Nikki said something about Seth, Becky brings up Cena, and she says, "You can't see him." The crowd just erupts. There's holy shit chants after that. Becky really burned her really bad. Nikki challenges Becky to a match. Becky responds by sucker punching her. So we're getting Becky and Nikki soon. Byron Saxton interviewed Naomi backstage. She says she'll face Io Sky next week in Montreal. It's Quebec City. SmackDown's in Montreal. Stephanie Vaquer walks in and says she will face the winner between Naomi and Io in Paris. And her and Naomi stare down. That's obviously going to be the direction. We're getting Naomi and Io Sky next week on Raw. Then we will get Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris. Michael Cole announced that Gunther will be out indefinitely. He has a nose injury, so we're not going to see him for a while. He's getting surgery. They announced Cody Rhodes will be on SmackDown this Friday. He's your new undisputed WWE champion. They preview next week's Raw. Then we see LA Knight heading to the ring. Natalya confronted Becky Lynch backstage. Her delivery was awful. Natalya cannot deliver her lines at all right here. Again, it's just a different era. I mean, Natalya and Nikki Bella, the way they talk, it's just awful. It just reminds me of Raw from 10 years ago and how much I hated it. Maybe not 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago. Oh, it's just awful. But she challenges Becky to a match. Becky accepts, but she wants it to be against Maxine Dupree. I don't know why. I guess Becky likes Maxine. She wants her to do well, and I don't get why she has to do this. LA Knight's out next. Then Seth Rollins is out. he just really needs to change his theme music as the fans keep singing his stupid song. Seth sucks. I'm not a fan. Anyway, you get the World Heavyweight Championship main event tonight. Seth Rollins defending against LA Knight. They had a good match. There was a buckle bomb. They're doing well. Fans are into it. They fought near the announce booth. Seth pulled back the mats, exposing the concrete. He's ready to destroy LA Knight with a curb stomp on the concrete, but CM Punk comes from the crowd, attacks Seth Rollins, causing disqualification, so it's a loss for LA Knight. He loses his world title match. Seth wins by DQ. Punk goes after Seth. Braun Breaker then spears CM Punk. Bronson Reed then comes out. They beat down both CM Punk and LA Knight. Braun Breaker speared LA Knight. Rollins then curb stomps both of them. He poses with the belt in the ring. Then they get on the stage. And we already saw the Raw credit logo. We saw, produced by Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. They're posing on the ramp. And then Roman Reigns' music hits. He gets a massive pop. He beats down the stable. He hits Superman punches. Crowd's going nuts, but then it becomes 3-on-1. And I'm thinking to myself, where's Jey Uso? The crowd was doing the yeet. We didn't see Jey Uso this week. And normally I think that's a good thing because I don't like Jey Uso. But, where is he? It makes all storyline sense in the world for him to come right now and fight with his cousin. He just teamed with them. They won. They beat Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. Where is Jey Uso? This makes no sense whatsoever. Where is Jey? There should have been an Amber Alert for Jey Uso, for God's sake. Seriously, where the fuck is Jey Uso? He gets speared, Roman Reigns does. Before that, he got curb stomp, and then he takes 3 tsunamis from Bronson Reed. 2 things come from this. Either they're writing off Roman Reigns until SummerSlam. They're writing off Roman Reigns until Survivor Series, which I think is most likely, or Roman's going to team with LA Knight and CM Punk in a 6-man tag at Clash in Paris. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I think Roman's out. I think they're just going to write Roman Reigns off for 3.5 months, basically, until Survivor Series when he teams with, or he's in War Games and probably against Seth's stable. So I think that's where we're heading. The stable poses over Roman Reigns. He took 3 tsunamis, the exact same angle they did with Seth Rollins last year at SummerSlam. Last year on the Raw after SummerSlam when Bronson Reed gave Seth Rollins a whole bunch of tsunamis. Here it's similar, not as many tsunamis. He hit Rollins with like 7 or 8 tsunamis. Here it's only 3, but it seems like they're trying to do the angle where they crush Roman's ribs to keep him off TV. It's their way of writing him off for a while. They did the same beatdown to him the night after WrestleMania, so night after SummerSlam. They take out Roman Reigns. The stable poses. That's how the show ends. And I think I and everyone else watching just have one question we have one question regarding the angle that ended Raw. One question. Where the fuck was Jey Uso?